Hi, I'm Sonic.
And I'm out here naming and shaming for the Game Awards. I didn't watch it, I didn't watch the Game Awards, but I was looking at some of the trailers and I don't understand. I mean, I understand why, because companies pay Keighley for money to showcase their ads. But why do we have this as a who made Jeff Keighley the arbiter of video game awards? Like,
I think Jeff Keighley is loved by companies because he's a kiss ass. Like he's a corporate bootlegger. Like it's
wait,
not.
no, we gotta speak their language. I think I can phrase that what you're saying in a little bit more positive way. Keighley is brand safe.
Yeah, no, you're correct. I mean, that's basically what. That's exactly what I was saying. Basically, in a different way. Keighley is extremely brand safe. Like you can pay him, or rather, even if you don't pay him, he's never gonna say something that upsets like the PR department of any of these companies. Which is why he's the successor to E3, which was also a very corporate friendly show, right? E3 was not like I feel like people get I don't know, people get nostalgic about E3 and all that, and I'm like, at the end of the day, it's a trade show. Like it's a corporate trade show. It's not like sure you allow fans into it, but at the end of the day, it's a place where these massive multi-billion-dollar corporations to showcase like their upcoming products. It's not. It's not some like for the gamers thing. I think that's like the narrative that gets brought about. But Jeff Keighley is just a natural successor to that. It makes sense, and I hate it. I don't like Jeff Keighley. Speaking of things,
So
I
with
don't.
that,
Speaking of things I don't like.
No, wait a minute. Wait. We gotta give him some gaming content. All right, before we switch it up, before we hit our tour, I'm just gonna. Here's a new segment sponsored by Shift Shaving or whatever it's called from that one episode. No, the Schick Hydro Man. There you go. It's sponsored by the Schick Hydro Man. Yeah, whatever. Yes, that. It's sponsored by that. So here's a new segment where I'm just going to explain to you an announcement at the Game Awards, and I want your immediate thoughts on it. All right? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming to PC on January 23rd. Good or bad? Are you going to play it?
I'm gonna play it, but the PC port is gonna suck ass because it's Square Enix. Their PC ports always suck garbage.
Borderlands 4.
I don't give a shit about Borderlands. It's 2024. Nobody gives a shit about Borderlands.
The Witcher 4, where you play as Ciri.
Absolutely. I love The Witcher. So, yeah.
Okay. Naughty Dog's new game is Intergalactic, the Heretic Project, where you go into space.
I will reserve judgment on that until later because I don't.
Directed by Neil Druckmann, so it'll somehow relate to Palestine.
So I'll not play it. Okay. That's
Elden Ring co-op multiplayer spinoff.
I don't want to like. I don't want to play more Elden Ring.
Like, Okami is having a sequel.
I don't know how
I'm
to feel
excited
about
for
that.
this one.
I never played Okami. I've never played the original Okamis.
It's directed by Hideki Kamiya.
I know that much, but I don't know anything else about Okami other than there's a wolf in it. There's a
Outer Worlds 2.
Yes, hell yes. I loved Outer Worlds. Not Outer Wilds, which I didn't like. Outer Worlds.
We can't do Outer Wilds discourse anymore. Last of Us Part 2 remastered coming to PC.
I did not play the one on the. I don't know. I don't particularly care about the Last of Us.
Slay the Spire 2.
No, I don't. I've tried Slay the Spire a lot, and I don't particularly get on with it.
The last one that I think is important here is going to be a new Turok game. Have you ever played any of the original Turok games?
I know. I've heard of the name, but I've not played it.
They were first-person dinosaur shooters on the N64, which actually, so does it hold up today? No, but did 8-year-old, 7-year-old me have a good time playing it? Yes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it would hold up today, but it was good back in the day.
It'll work if they make it like silly and not too serious, like because that sounds like a game is better if you make it not serious. So I think we can now transition into another thing that's not serious, which is Drake. I mean, the whole existence of Drake is not serious, but also Drake. Oh man, this headline: Drake alleges UMG, which is Universal Music Group, a massive record label, probably one of the biggest record labels, falsely inflated Kendrick Lamar's track "Not Like Us," and by falsely inflated, he means streaming numbers. That the numbers were falsely inflated by the use of, I don't know, bots. He can't put up with the fact that people actually like Kendrick Lamar and actually like his music and like Not Like Us, which is like a club banger and is very catchy. So I don't know what else to say to that other than Drake is extremely the sorest of losers. The man needs to learn how to take an L for the sake of all of us. That's my thoughts. What are your thoughts on Drake being a sore loser?
I'm furiously Googling for an article I sent you about how Spotify is kind of all a payola. Do you have that link?
It's in
our Signal chat.
It's in our Signal. I can find it given enough
Okay,
time.
while I talk about this, we can find stuff. That's what I want to go on about for a minute because I want to add to the show notes. I cannot find it in our chat. So if you could, I would very much appreciate you. But okay, so my thoughts on it, as I was just saying, is all of streaming is kind of a payola, right? So like I recently, since I switched to Android, I switched to Spotify. I'm so sorry, Google. YouTube Music is as good as Groove Music was before Microsoft killed it. And I think the only reason most people put up with it is it's included with YouTube Premium. And I understand, listen, if you are broke, right, and you can only pay for one streaming service, the YouTube Premium YouTube Music combo is actually great, right? Like it's $12 a month for ad-free YouTube plus a streaming service. I can't hate on it. But
I cannot find this link in our
it might be in the group chat. It might be in the thirst chat.
It might be in the group chat. Yeah.
For context, for anyone who listens, me and my boys, we have a chat we called the Thirst Chat because it was a name we made in 2015 when I was like 19. I can't, that group chat name is not held up today. But still, so basically, there's the idea that you pay for streams. What is not modern music if not paying for placement, right? There are some songs that naturally will blow up through the algorithm, but if you look at TikTok, you look at Spotify, you look at YouTube, right? How the ad marketplaces work for those platforms is when you are having a song, you can sponsor it to boost it, right? You can boost either YouTube by ad placement or on TikTok, however that their ad system works there. And you could also do natural, well, not quote unquote natural influencing, where you pay a creator, right, to have that song be in the background of their video. So even though it's disclosed, right, there are ways to boost a song.
I mean, yeah.
Is that necessarily payola? I'm not saying Kendrick did this, but the idea that this is a problem in modern music, well, I mean, yeah, but it's not. Kendrick's not out here botting it. Record labels have been doing this for artists for years.
Kendrick doesn't need to bot Not Like Us. There's absolutely like no need to promo it because it's like promos itself. It's like a viral phenomenon. It's like a cultural phenomenon. It kind of propagates by itself. But as you said, I think the biggest thing right now is how TikTok influences music, right? How TikTok influences musical trends. So artists are making tracks that are TikTok friendly in the sense that you can like put a snippet of it in a TikTok video, and that snippet is going to be like really catchy and really recognizable. And what that causes is like it causes the viral. Well, it kind of forces it. Like it's like a kind of
Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso was basically boosted to be the most popular song of the year. Because here's what happens. Can artists pay to be in Spotify playlists? Let me actually search that. I'm going to, because I know TikTok you can.
Probably, but not directly. I would imagine it's probably through contracts that, like, if you're signed to a major record label, they probably have contacts at like people at Spotify who make these playlists. I feel like so it's like these songs. And to the example of Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso, yes, it is a really, but to be fair, like to give it credit, that song is extremely catchy. I feel like it didn't really need a lot of boosting to have it be like the single of the year or whatever. Like it is really a very catchy track.
I just found a website called spotifypanel.com. I'll put this in the show notes here. Yep. So, okay. Thank you. It's hard. Yes. From Headphonesty, talking about payolas live and then the streaming era. Sort of goes into this. It's a really great read. But here's a site called Spotify Panel. This might be a scam site, right? But this is effectively seems like a service where you just pay for botting.
Oh, this kind of stuff exists for like literally every kind of media platform. YouTube likes YouTube.
This stuff exists for games. Like if you want to get ranked in Overwatch, you can just pay someone, right, to smurf for you. Like you can just pay for someone to do that.
No, you just buy an account. You just buy a high level account, which is kind of stupid because you're just going to start direct. You can buy a high level account. Yeah, you can pay. You can smurf. You can pay somebody to use your account to get higher Smurf, like you can higher rank rather. Like you can pay for YouTube views, you can pay for like Instagram likes and follows, you can pay for YouTube views, you can pay for there's a whole sort of quote unquote underground industry that is built around basically having, and oftentimes these are real people, real accounts paid people in lower income countries, right? In Southeast Asia, paid like pennies to click a link and leave a comment or click like or whatever, right? Follow, use their legitimate Instagram account to hit follow on somebody's account, right? Or hit like or.
I don't know if this was Steve on YouTube. It was one of the PC Gamer YouTube channels that was talking about how ad campaigns work. And basically as a part, if I find a video, I will add it. I have to go search for it. But if I find the video, I will add it to the show notes, which you always find at voxels.fm. But did we even say I'm Christian? I didn't even introduce myself. This is Voxels, a show ostensibly about culture and video games. But but basically what that YouTuber was talking about is, as a part of the ad contract, bot views, like guaranteed views, are a part of that contract, right? Where like the advertiser comes some, say it's like NZXT advertising Fortnite competitions, whatever the fuck they do, right? They would say as a part of their contract, okay, we are going to pay for you to hit these talking points, and we're going to include 400,000 base views, and we expect 600,000 organic, right? So that 400,000 is purchased, it's botted, it's somehow bot placement, and that's a part of the deal because they're expecting, because they also include that purchase views, that organic views will come through because the algorithm will start serving it to more people.
And I think views, YouTube algorithm is a black box, but it's not just views that make a YouTube video.
Watch time plus views, I think, really.
Watch time, views, and engagement, which means people click like or people comment. So this is why people are when YouTubers say that it doesn't matter if you like or comment. Like if you comment on the video, it'll increase some metric somewhere in a little black box algorithm where it's like this video is a lot of people interested in this video because they're like in the comments, right? And that will boost it up in the algo. So yeah, there's a lot of this stuff that we can talk about this for like hour and hour plus. It's like there is like a certain amount of it's what is happening here is just that the industry back in the day when music used to be the source for music promotion used to be radio. Record labels paid for that, right? They obviously, that's how back in the day you had to be on a record label to get your music anywhere because it was like really hard to like distribute music Now it's more like you pay like a bot farm to like bot a video or a stream or
right. It's all marketing. So I think there are some songs that naturally grow organically, right? I don't want to deny the artistry of it. But to say that this is like a Kendrick specific problem, even if he is or is not engaging with it, rather it's a music industry problem, is weird because even if there's not payola for radio stations.
Yeah, Drake does not give a shit about a problem with inflated numbers, streaming numbers or engagement numbers in the music industry because he would benefit from that. Like obviously Drake would benefit his own music. He makes his money on streaming. Like that's how Drake makes money, right? Like Drake is quite possibly one of the biggest streaming artists still, right? It's Drake, it's Taylor Swift, it's Bad Bunny, right? Like these artists like stream billions of streams. So like Drake doesn't actually care about like the industry like that.
I think a succinct way maybe to tie this up before we move on to the Grand National is you cannot file a lawsuit saying that a song was artificially inflated when you have Beats headphones sponsoring all your fucking music videos, because that's the same shit, right? That paid placement is is conceptually the same thing as like juicing the numbers.
So no, it's just, this is like we can have a wild discussion about engagement numbers and inflated streams and whatnot, but at the end of the day, this is just about Drake being a sore loser, right? He just can't get over the fact that he just got bodied so fucking hard, right? Like that's just like it's like being a sore loser on like the world's biggest stage. Like everybody is watching you being the biggest loser ever. So it's
he was I got a segue for this. You can say he was running through the six with his woes. Anyways, let's move on to this new Kendrick album. We're super late to it. So I want to start. Let me set the game plan down for this. Where were you when the GNX
Okay,
video
so
dropped?
it was a Friday, right? Like it dropped on like a late
Right. But
Friday.
we got to talk about the rollout first. So a 1 minute short clip dropped. Right, me and you were all hype in the group chat, and then I'm like, I gotta go grocery shopping. 40 minutes later, get a push notification saying Kendrick album dropped, and I'm like, fuck, I had shit to do that day, but I guess not now.
Okay, so I was working, right? Like I started working that day. That was a work day, and I get a message from you saying that the album's on, and I'm like, what? Like it's just like the entire day I was just like on Genius, listening to the album on repeat, trying to figure out what he's saying, and like I was just losing my mind because it was just like this. I didn't expect him to drop the album that day. Like we got that little teaser trailer thing. And I was like, all right, cool. So we're doing some sort of rollout, like in January, you're gonna get a new album or something. But no, like 40 minutes later, we get the drop. And there's a video by RDC World. I put it in the show notes. How Kendrick was in the studio making this new album. Like he records it and it's just like dropping the album like right after. It's very funny. You should go watch that. It's very good.
It's so good. It's also too because it's you could tell that he was uploading the album in real time after that video dropped, because it was Apple Music first, then it was Tidal. Tidal got it first. I paid for a month of Tidal to listen to it as soon as possible. Don't judge me. So I did Tidal first, and then Apple Music, and then Spotify, and then YouTube Music last, which means that his label was like just uploading it as soon as they could.
Yeah, so his label did not know that it was gonna come out. Like his label was not like he's still signed through to like, I mean, he's doing his own thing. He's on like PG Lang is the record label, right? And published through Interscope.
If we could like parlays for video game people, right? You have your distributors, publishers, and developers, right? And so for the music industry, sometimes you could have the artist who makes the music, right? But then the label can do the distribution, publishing, and also the mastering of it.
Yeah. So in Kendrick's case, Interscope Records is the
distributor publisher. Yep.
Right. So like his label was just like, okay, like what are we doing? Like, all right. So one thing at a time, like, they uploaded to Tidal first, I guess. Tidal maybe has the fastest procedure for uploading music to it. I guess maybe that's why. I don't know. Maybe it's just like some sort of weird.
I mean, Kendrick probably just called Jay and was like, push that shit out.
Yeah. Just send him a zip file, like with the like lossless audio on it, like upload this shit right now. And then I listened to it on Apple Music, and not just and the like you could tell it was like a staged rollout or like a very hurried rollout, because the Dolby Atmos version wasn't uploaded initially, like on Apple Music. Like the Dolby Atmos version wasn't uploaded like until like the next week. Like I felt like the Dolby Atmos version wasn't there when it was uploaded to Apple Music.
It wasn't even mastered in Atmos, right? Kendrick was like, I guess, sir. Does Kendrick use AirPods? Because I know Charlie XCS actually uses Samsung Galaxy Buds too. Don't ask me how I know this. I just no. It's because apparently she had a Samsung's partnership, and in an interview, she was like, "All my fans say I secretly have an iPhone," and she's like, "No, AirPods don't fit me." So I'm like, Charlie XCX solidarity.
Oh wow, okay, that's good. But yeah, like it just dropped out of, like, everybody was surprised. Like Genius, everybody on Genius was like, like, what? Like nobody was ready to like transcribe the lyrics of the album because nobody was expecting it to come out on like some random Friday on in late November. And like, so what are like the first thoughts you have? Like the first track, Wacced Out Murals, right? It's a 12-track album. It's like what, like 50 minutes? Like it's not even an hour long. The short album. First track is just,
I love the compressed horns it starts with, right? It's like this dramatic stuff, but they are like purposely compressed so you can hear the compression artifacts. And then it's just like the random mariachi singer in the back. It's like, oh, this is, you think it's gonna be like some drama, but it's like, and he's just like low key, just talking shit the whole track. I love it.
Yeah, it's and one of the things I learned about this track is like, it's like he talks about Lil Wayne in this track, right? He says that used to bump the Carter 3. I held my rolly chain proud. irony, I think my hard work level is way down. And like this is like a reference to how Kendrick got the performance slot for the Super Bowl, right? Is this like the thing? Yeah, it's a Super Bowl thing, right? He's referencing how Lil Wayne wanted like a Super Bowl show, but like obviously Kendrick got it. And then he's talking about how Lil Wayne, like, you know, maybe he got let down and then he's like, everybody's questionable. And how when he won the Super Bowl, that Nas was the only one that congratulated him, which is like a wild, like I feel like that's a wild statement.
Okay, you were skipping the best line, like could have when Stu posted Taylor made, I thought it was the edibles.
Like, I don't know, no. He said no. This is the Stu posted Taylor made, which was the LLM generated track, right? And Kendrick's like, I prayed it was the edibles because I mean it's Snoop Dogg, so like that makes like sense. I think that man is like always high. Like I don't think this in that man has not stopped being high since like the Doggy Style came out. So like I think that man is always high. So it's like him being on edibles is like the surprising thing. Like this track, like he's just coming in hot. Like what else about this track is good?
The flow. Can we please talk about the flow outside of the lyrics for a minute? What is this inflection he's doing? My irony, I let Lil Wayne down. Like, what the fuck is that for?
No, that's Kendrick's thing. Like, he's always doing these like little vocal inflections, and it's what makes his music so good. I think. Like, I feel like Kendrick is like a one man theater production with his music, right? Like, it's like he's doing voices. Like, he's always doing voices.
I promise I don't mean this in a problematic way, right? I was watching a stream and someone was like reacting to it, and they were like, "This is Kendrick's most neurospicy album yet, with all the vocal ticks he has in all of his songs, right?" Like in what's the, we'll talk about it later, but TV Off, right? He'll randomly just be like, just in the middle of a fucking line.
Yeah. He just does that. Like it's, and I think that sort of the overall theme of this album is just Kendrick just like is. I just feel this album like coming out of the dark years of like Damn and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, which was like quite possibly one of the darkest albums I've literally ever heard, is like this album, which feels very exuberant. Like Kendrick feels like he's like unchained and he feels free to just do whatever the fuck he wants. Like he could just like he's just it feels a very happy album to me in many ways. Like it feels like Kendrick is very comfortable with his art and with himself, more importantly. And it like kind of like feel with all the weird vocal inflections he keeps doing. Like I feel like that's just him having fun. Like he loves doing that shit. So it's like
the one Kendrick line that lives free in my mind, rent free, is whenever he's on a track with Baby Keem and he'll randomly go like, "He's Baby Keem" for no fucking reason. It's so dumb, but it's so funny.
Yeah, Kendrick, why are you so funny? And Kendrick is legitimately one of the funniest rappers out right now, like the biggest funny rapper. We gotta talk about Squabble Up and like TV Off. Like those are the tracks I feel like I mean, every track on this is good, but like Squabble Up is just like it had that little snippet that we got from the
Not Like Us video, the first minute of it, yeah.
The Not Like Us music video. Like at the end of the Not Like Us music video, there was a little.
No, it was the beginning of it. It was the first.
The beginning of it. There's a little
snippet.
Yeah. Woke up looking for the broccoli. High key, keep a horn on me. That Kamasi. That's a reference to Kamasi Washington. Fantastic jazz artist. I think everybody should. If you're into jazz even a little bit, like I think you should listen to Kamasi Washington if you haven't. Or his like 2015 album, The Epic, is truly one of the best albums I've heard. And do you think where he says like IP ownership, the blueprint is by me, is that a Jay-Z reference?
That's a Jay-Z reference because Jay-Z bought his masters back, right? Like that's the whole thing. So I think Kendrick and PG Lanky owns his masters now.
Wait, because when did that happen?
Didn't Jay-Z buy his masters?
I don't. That feels like something I should know, but I don't. It's like, I mean, the blueprint is like the Jay-Z album, like, you know, so it's like a reference to Jay-Z, I think.
Yeah, he won in 2014.
Oh, okay, that's like
he got
10 years
the
ago.
Publishing and master rights in 2014.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just love Squabble Up so much. Like the whole vibe on this is just like him just going like I feel good, get the fuck out of my face, which is like, a mood. So, like, yeah, I just love it.
Oh no, sorry, let me real time. This is misinformation. In 2031, he'll have his masters, according to Black Wealth Enterprise. I don't trust this website. He may or may not. He may own some of his masters, but maybe he may not
I
own
feel
all
like
of them.
not all of them. Maybe some of his older stuff.
Voxels.fm is not your trusted source of masters information. I also don't like that term a lot.
No, that kind of information is hard to get anyway. I think one of my like low key favorite tracks on this album is Reincarnated. Before we get to TV off, like I want to talk about Reincarnated because I feel like Reincarnated is one of those tracks where he's just like it's a story. Like he's telling a story about him being reincarnation of multiple different artists, right? From the past, right? Like he's like another life had placed me as a black woman in the Chitlin circuit. Like I think that's a reference to Billie Holiday. And like the first verse is like a reference to who's it a reference to? Like it's not.
I don't think the first verse has a specific reference.
Is it not a reference? Like
I thought it was Jimi Hendrix. He's talking about the guitar, right? And I thought
he was talking about Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, like he's talking about let's take it back to Michigan in 1947. And he died. And like if this is like multiple reincarnation, and like the third verse is the one where he's talking about himself.
Yeah, maybe John Lee Hooker, according to Genius, is a blues guitarist in the 40s, but yeah, that one's a little less clear.
Yeah, I'm like, this is probably the track on this album that is the most reflective and introspective. And also this uses a sample, right? This is a sample of Tupac's, it's a Tupac sample here. And it also intros with that mariachi singer whose name is Dara.
Speak on her name.
Dara Barrera. That's the name. I don't know who that is, but that's do you think that's like does that mean anything? Oh, it's just like the continuation of the
it's LA as fuck. That's what it means. This whole album is like West Coast as fuck. So that's you got like hip hop and then you got like all the Mexicans out in LA. So I get it. I get what he's going for with it. But so that track I think it's a really great example of how well he is at telling a story. And you can really unpack the idea of him taking this blues guitarist, Billie Holiday, and then being reincarnated as Tupac as the third verse. And in the fourth verse, talking about his life, flipping it into a retcon of the Bible story of how the devil is a fallen angel. And actually the devil is like a fallen angel, but whose task on earth is to save humanity from themselves instead of leading them to hell. Like to flip that entire thing, there is so much to unpack there.
Yeah, and like also like it's a reference to like how he's always talking about Lucifer. Like obviously this is from To Pimp a Butterfly, the evils of Lucy all around me, right? Like he's always talking about Kendrick and Bible verses is like, always a thing. So Kendrick's always talking about the devil, about God, about the Bible, Deuteronomy on Damn, right? I've been listening to a lot of Kendrick recently. I've been going back in the discography, and like I think this is the first time he's like actually like the story is like he's having a conversation with like the devil, right? Is that like the thing? Like I feel like
in Reincarnated,
it's not Reincarnated. Is that in like which track is that? Is that like
because the whole story of Tim and Butterflies, he's like telling it to Tupac, right? And then Damn, he's just talking about his own existence, right? And like sort of, it's like
Damn is about himself. Yeah, Damn is like a more introspective album.
I mean, not in Good Kid, Mad City, not in any of the recent albums. Like not even Mr. Raw, the Big Steppers is him. Like it's more like a stage play.
Yeah. I was trying to remember if there was like a similar conversation, like with like some sort of supernatural entity being played out. I don't think there is. Going back to Section 80, like I don't remember it.
No. Okay, you're thinking of the first track of Untitled Unmastered. The track about it's not the Get Top on the Phone track. It's the track before it, because when he's in that track, he's basically talking about a rapture happening, right? He's like telling the story of like a rapture and him pleading with God, saying that hey, he made Good Kid, Mad City, he made this so his soul should be saved. That's what that track is about. So you might be referencing that one. But yeah, no, Reincarnated though, it is. I don't know, Kendrick and Mr. Morale was like, I can't be your savior. And then here he's like pitting himself as literally like Lucifer, but flipping it to be a positive spin on that.
I mean, that's not surprising though, right? And that's not surprising because Kendrick has always had this like weird ass savior complex, right? Like weird ass like Jesus complex, I'd say, right? He's like the savior of, I don't know, like multiple things like hip hop, culture, and everybody else. Like
It just goes against in the face of everything the end of Mr. Morale was about.
yeah, but to be fair to Mr. Morale, I don't think Kendrick. Mr. Morale was a very heavy album, and like it was a very introspective album, and he was just fighting a lot of things at the time. I feel like it was like he said that I'm not your savior more out of frustration than I think anything else. I feel like like I think he still has this like weird. A lot weird. Like he still has this like savior complex, this god complex, and I don't think that's ever gonna really go. I feel like this just Kendrick just feels like he's the one that made it, that one that survived, and one that made it all this way, and now it's like his responsibility to save everybody else. I feel like that's the vibe.
I do want to say on that same train, you skipped over "Man in the Garden," and "Man at the Garden" is another one of those lyrically heavy tracks that we should not skip over.
What about Man in the Garden are you talking about?
I mean, the entire song is him basically justifying the claim that he deserves it all, and his claim that he's like the greatest of all time.
Yeah, so this is again another like seeking, like he's talking about other people also. Like he's talking about how I see you as a human first, even when you don't deserve, I didn't understand your worth, bitch. I deserve it all. Like so, it's just like he's just saying that he's the one that's like gonna save everybody, and which is as you said,
I don't think it's that. I think it's more of I'm gonna fight that he's gonna save her. I think this track is more of I embrace my humanity and I see other people's humanity, and because of that I can make the claim that I deserve it all, right? I think it's more of a general, I mean, it's a statement for him about why he's the best, but I think the general audience can take away that the morals he's trying to push. Because there's an interview him and SZA did a while back, and she basically asked him, is not like us is just like some masculine bullshit, or like what does it actually mean? And his answer basically equated to him telling her that not like us is sort of referring to people who are decent men who actually give a shit about their communities and are fallible and make mistakes. Sort of the anti of everything that Drake was saying he is, right? Because Drake is just like, so it's just like a decent person. And I think this track goes back to that, where maybe the takeaway is not more so that he's the greatest because he's saying that for himself, but that you or a listener could say they're the greatest as long as they embrace their humanity and recognize they make mistakes, and as long as they're trying to reconcile that and do good.
Yeah, like I mean, he kind of is saying that he's the greatest. Like he says, "Tell me why you think you deserve the greatest of all time, motherfucker." Like that's obviously like a reference. Like that's the last line before the outro, and it's like he's saying that he's the greatest of all time, and why do we, all of us, deserve Kendrick Lamar, right? I think that's the.
But that verse begins with "Put a smile on my mama, it's good health and good karma. Yeah, she deserves it all." While he's saying, "I deserve it all."
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it feels a little weird. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I don't think your analysis is wrong, or I don't think mine is wrong. I think it's just like it's the interpretation of this. I feel like it's kind of like flip flopping. Like it's like he's talking to.
I am going to say that Western society has poisoned your mind to think that only a singular person could deserve it all, when I, on my praxis bullshit, believe we can all deserve it all.
I didn't expect to get schooled on, I don't know, communist theory on this fucking podcast of all places. But sure, I'm not saying like I would prefer it to be a case where Kendrick is saying that all of us are deserving of good things and et cetera, et cetera. So the good. This is the thing about Kendrick's music. Like I feel like interpretation is everything with his music.
Right. Also, we're gonna keep working it backwards because you're skipping over the best track. So, firstly, fuck you for that. Yes, Luther. Can we please just talk about how one, good the singing is on this track, two, the fucking background instrumentation, and the fact that it's the same melody, but Kendrick and SZA just keep going to different vocal melodies on top of like the strings. It gets better and like more angelic as this song goes on. It is so good.
Yeah. There are two tracks. There's Luther and the last track Gloria, which SZA is on. Like these both tracks, and these are not features. These are like duets. Like they're marked as with SZA, not featuring SZA, right? Which means that these are like duets. Like Kendrick and SZA are singing together, and I think they're gonna go on tour together as well for this album. Like I think that's the thing. Last I heard about the tour for this, it's gonna be Kendrick and SZA. And I just love SZA's voice, man. Like it's just such a good, like it's just like this track comes on, and I feel like this album has a good balance of like these hype beats, and these more slowed down, more R&B style kind of vibes, like kind of more chill, well, not chill, more low key vibes.
Also, promise me something. I gotta ask you this question. I'm gonna put it on wax for the podcast. Are you going to one of the 2 Toronto shows?
I don't do concerts for personal reasons.
I mean, but you could be seeing not like us in Toronto for the first time, bro.
That's. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't know if I can get tickets for that. I'm sure it's sold out.
Look, like I respect people who got anxiety on concerts because there's so many people there. Like I'm not talking shit on it. I will buy you an edible.
Yeah, no, and that's the reason I don't go. Yeah,
allegedly.
That's okay.
Allegedly.
You can't. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean that shit's legal here, but
this Discord calls ended encrypted. But I don't know about the podcast delivery CDNs are.
I mean, it's legal here, so I don't care. But but yeah, I don't do concerts, especially like a concert as big as Kendrick Lamar. Like I'm sure it'd be good, but I just don't want to. I feel like I would not have as much fun as you think it would be. Like I would just be, yeah.
All right, for all the furries out in the audience, and I say y'all for a reason because I respect y'all and I love y'all, but I know you all have this 360 camera setup, sneaking into the Kendrick show so we can watch it in VR to be like we're there, but be physically at home.
Okay. I don't think that's possible. But we can.
Anything is possible. Ingenuity. So can we please talk about TV off now?
Yes, absolutely. I was like waiting for us to get the TV up because this is the track where it starts off with this one beat, right? We got Mustard on the track. We got Soundwave on the track. Part 1. I don't even know what else to say other than it's just such a hype track. Like the way, and obviously the most important thing about this whole album, that Kendrick has created yet another meme, right? Yet another.
So before we go there, I need to start with the first line. All I ever wanted was a Black Grand National. Fuck being rational, give them what they asked for. And that sets this tone for this entire track. Because this entire track is like, all right, you know what? No one wants this heady. No one wants this deep shit. Okay. Here's just some raw track because all y'all want is emotion and memes and shit. So we're just going to scream about it. And if you don't get it at that point, that's on fucking you.
Yeah, there are like a lot of funny lines in this song. And like there's a beat switch in here. And yeah, it just
like, what's the funniest line here? Let me see. I hate a bitch that's hating on a bitch when they both broke. I hate a man that's hating on a man when they both. Oh no, I hate a bitch that's hating on a bitch and they both hoes.
It's hate on a bitch that they're both hoes.
I hate on a man that's hating on a man and they both broke.
It's so funny. It's just
because we've all been there. We've all and I'm not talking about like other people, but I think every single person here has like been like, fuck that person. And in the back of your head, you're like, I do the same shit they do, but I'm not going to say that out loud.
Yeah. And also the part where he says, bitch, I cut my granny off if she don't see it how I see it.
You know what? For everyone on the timeline that's posting about how they have to go to holidays with their problematic family members. No, cut your granny off. Kendrick did it. Why can't you? Stop being around homophobes.
Yeah. That's the message. That's the message. And we got to talk about the transition between the first part and the second part, right? Where like the beat switches and then you hear the Mustard on the b-ho and then you're gonna get some like nasty shit. Like it's just like
because Kendrick after that he's like
like he's getting ready to like just like it's so good. And like the whole Mustard is just he not only did he do Not Like Us, in the same fucking year we get another fucking viral meme coming out of Kendrick's music. Like this man is unstoppable. Like it's just the facts. And everybody
So DJ Mustard on every track now. Mustard on the b-ho is a classic DJ tag. Some are annoying. It's actually a really good one. But Mustard for the next 5 years, every single, it needs to be a cut up. It needs to be a cut up version of that scream, right? Like he needs to do something with that screen and make it his new DJ tag.
Yeah, like I feel like, yeah, that's like Mustard. I feel like one of the real winners in this album is Mustard. Like everybody's screaming this man's name right now. Like I feel like nobody has screamed a producer's name like this in long ass time. Like which other producers getting their names screamed out in the clubs everywhere, because like everybody's gonna sing along to that bit. Like it's just gonna be like so.
And the chorus, though, so we got to break down the lyrical at the chorus. It's him screaming Mustard, then people acting bad, but somebody got to do it. Got my foot up on the gas, somebody got to do it. Turn his TV off, turn his TV off. Like it is just like this has to be a response to Drake. I feel like it has to be a response to Drake because it's just like someone had to do it. If you don't want to hear this shit, turn it off.
Turn TV off, yeah.
You just turn it fucking off if you don't want to deal with this. Who's telling you to deal with it? Like you're doing this to yourself, so shut up. It's so good.
And there's a line here that I just appreciate for the craft here. The city just made it sweet. You could die, I bet it. And the way he says that last 3 words, you could die, bet it. Like sweet, diabetic, right? That's like one of those, like, you think about it for a second, it's like, just like as a writer, it's just like chef's kiss, just beautiful wordplay, right? Like that's just gorgeous. But yeah,
I love the ending of it too. Walk in New Orleans with the etiquette of LA yelling, just
etiquette of LA yelling, yes, star.
Oh, it's so good.
I was tempted to open the podcast with like Mustard, but I thought that would be a little tacky.
You get people knock on your door asking why you're screaming that at the top of your lungs because you can't. You gotta actually, if you're gonna do it, you'd have to actually. You would commit. I would cut it from the podcast if we didn't commit to it.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. I know it's Saturday morning, and I don't want to wake up.
Plus the outro too, shit gets crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious. It's just like so good. It's so catchy.
What else is there? Like you want to talk about Hard Part 6? I think Hard Part 6 is what.
Wait, can we talk about Peekaboo first?
Okay, we can talk about Peekaboo.
Just for the fact of like,
oh yeah,
this is him making fun. This is a song. What they talk about? They talk about nothing. What they talk about? They talk about nothing. It is just them just talking shit on like people who make music that it's ignorant, which is fine. Ignorant music is fine, but I love how much they're just talking shit about it. What they talk about? They talk about nothing.
and this track, and also like Dodger Blue, and also GNX, like has a lot of artists featured that I don't know who they are. Like they're like LA artists, right? Like these babes, like Series 7X, Wallie the Sensei, AzHike, Hitta J3, Peysoh, YoungThreat. Like I don't know who these people are.
It's Kendrick got a Call of Duty lobby up in this album.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's not. It sounds like a bunch of like usernames like from Call of Duty. Absolutely.
Like, hey, Hitta J3 is finally we can prestige again. It's the double XP weekend.
YoungThreat absolutely sounds like Call of Duty name. Hard Part 6, I think is like a talking about how back in the day before like he became famous, like Dave's reference to Dave Free. Dave Free had a champagne Acura, which like I love that. It's a great way to put like the color of the Acura. Like and how he was like a producer, a manager, and a director, and a DJ. I don't know, mixed by Ali, and reference to Schoolboy Q about how Schoolboy Q didn't rap, but he learned from their inspiration, and like splitting Louisiana chicken riverboat specials, which sounds delicious. I don't know what that is, but it sounds
Popeyes, bro. They're talking about Louisiana chicken. They're talking about Popeyes, bro.
Oh, they're talking about Popeyes. I was like, I don't know if this is some like LA thing. I don't.
I mean, let me check it. I'm assuming
I have Popeyes
that's
here.
That's a
I have
Popeyes
Popeyes.
combo.
I know what Popeyes is. Like I just didn't know it was.
Where is it? Riverboat. Yeah. That's the Riverboat special from. Oh no, Louisiana chicken is okay. That's a Compton specific restaurant. Okay, it ain't Popeyes.
Oh yeah, I was like, it's like I don't think it's Popeyes. Like it's like some fried chicken thing, but like I don't think it's Popeyes. Okay, KFC. And it's like Q said, "Dot, you won't be slept on." I mean that's Schoolboy Q was right. And like he's also talking about how he was Black Hippie. If I don't know if people remember what Black Hippie was. Do you remember who was in Black Hippie? I know it was Kendrick and Absol J Rock. J-Rock, right?
Absol, Schoolboy Q, J Rock. I think it was them four. Yeah. The four rappers and
Yeah, and he says that Black Hippie didn't work because of Kendrick, because of me. Creatively, I moved on with new concepts in Ricch. And he's like talking about how he was just trying to get J Rock signed, and like that was gonna be like the thing that And I gotta respect Kendrick or all the Apple nerds out there. Put my heart on display like it was an iMac. That's a good reference. That's just a good the old iMac G reference, I think.
see that okay. Let's actually talk. Is it a G3? I know Genius says it's a G3. I thought it was the iMac. It's G4, the one with the swivel arm one, the one that had the computer as the base, the one you could swivel around. I thought it was that one. I feel like I disagree.
No. It is it's the one that has a translucent case, which is what it is like. It's talking about that one that came out in 1998, which had a translucent color case, which meant you could see a little bit like the inside, the heart of the computer, right? Which is what he's saying. Put my heart on display like it was an iMac, right? And I just heard that line. I was like, that's a good line. And also, before I forget, put a square on his back like it's Jack Dorsey. I forgot which track that is. I forgot which fucking track that is. It's one of these tracks. I don't remember which one it is. Put a square on his back like he's Jack Dorsey. Just an extremely funny line. Like it's just really, really funny. Like for people who don't understand, square.
Hey now is it? So the line is, I'm looking at it here.
We got the same 24. What you mad for? I put a square on his back like I'm Jack Dorsey. Square is reference to the payment processing company Square. Jack Dorsey is the co-founder of Square. So put Square on his back.
I feel like if I was in the studio, I would have let Kendrick cook a little bit more and had some blue sky lines up on here.
I don't. No. It would be weird. I think just
Kendrick Lamar. What are your thoughts on Federation?
The evils of Lucy all around me is what he's gonna say. Anyways, GNX is just like a feature track, right? Like it's a track made for Peysoh and Hitta J3 and YoungThreat. And I gotta say, no, like I don't really mean this in a mean way, but the YoungThreat verse is bad. Like it's the worst verse on this album. Like it's the worst bit of the album. Like I'll be real with you. Get on my Bob the Builder shit. Get down with the pliers. Like what? What is that line?
Listen, he put people on his block on this album. You know what? He can have that. I'm not against it being on the album.
I'm not saying I'm not but I'm not disrespecting anybody here. I don't really mean this in any mean kind of way. Like obviously he wants to represent like the people in his community. And that's fine. I just find the end of this track, GNX with YoungThreat, third verse, final verse, just kind of mid. It's unfortunately just kind of a mid verse. Like I'm with some rock star bitches. They want Lizzie McGuire. Like what are these lines, bro? Like I don't. Anyways,
Gloria though as the last track is so good. It's so well written.
It's what this track reminds me of? It reminds me of a Kanye West track. Do you remember a track called Homecoming featuring Chris Martin?
The intro to Graduation, right?
Is that
or no? Is it Late Registration at the first track? What track? Homecoming was the first track.
I think it's Late Registration, not Graduation.
Homecoming was off of Graduation. Yeah, it was track 12. Track 12 on Graduation.
I'm gonna connect this here. It's like the Homecoming, the entire track. He's talking about a girl, and it's a metaphor for the city of Chicago, right? And this track, Gloria, is talking about a woman, right, as a metaphor for his pen, which is named Gloria for some reason, but that's what it is. So this track just reminded me of that elaborate metaphor. And I think this track is actually in some ways better than that track by Kanye West. I just love this track. These references to preoccupied playing John Madden and bullshitting, reminiscing about younger days, and then he's like, and the woman here is SZA. SZA's the one who plays the woman here, and how he's talking about fabrication. I disgust you, then you blocked me. I said fuck you, and then it's like Man, what? I gave you life. I breathed the motherfucking charisma in this bitch. I love that. That bit is so funny. Down bitch. I know your favorite movie. Is it Notebook? Is also like,
It's really good foreshadowing because you don't know until the end of the track that he's talking about his pen.
yep. You don't know about like, it's like Notebook, and then you get to like, my woman and my right hand, my saint and my sin. Ain't no bitch like my bitch, cause that bitch been my pen. And it's just like, you know, and then the outro with the SZA, the last bit of the album, SZA closes it out, you know, Gloria, I want to take you to euphoria. Great line. And I think this album doesn't have like any filler tracks. I don't think it has any filler tracks. It doesn't have any mid, really kind of bad tracks that I would skip. Like when I listen to this album, I don't skip any tracks. Like I listen to it I listen to the whole thing all the way through, no skips. And that's rare even with Kendrick albums. Even with Kendrick albums in the past, I've had to skip tracks, you know, like with Damn, like there's only so many times I can listen to some of the tracks on Damn before I get annoyed, because other tracks on Damn are kind of annoying. It's like, there is no tracks I skip on this. This is like a perfect album. It goes on my album of the year list, which I'm going to be making soon. What are your concluding thoughts before we wrap this up?
I don't know if I like this or Chromacopia better because both are fantastic albums. Really, the LA doing well right now. Toronto's in shambles. Really?
Why you gotta? Okay. I didn't want.
Look who represents you. Look who represents you. All right, y'all made that choice.
Yeah, it's fair. We got some good music coming out of Toronto, but shout out.
Like what? Hey, Guan Delilah.
I was talking about Sad Boy, bro.
I've never heard of Sad Boy, but you know, I
sent you a link to Sad Boy's music. He's good. Great music.
How often do you open the links I send you, and how often do I?
Not fair enough.
You know, we can have a conversation about that. I'm not judging you. We don't need to have that intervention right now about us sending links no one opens.
I'm saying Toronto will recover from whatever the fuck just happened over the past decade of Drake being a bitch ass.
But no, I love this album. It was worth paying that one. I put the headphones in LDAC, you know, like I made sure that if I'm gonna hear this, I'm gonna hear this in the best possible fidelity that is not plugging it in directly, because I don't do that shit in 2024. But I'm very happy this album came out. I'm very excited for. I might actually watch a Super Bowl for once in my life. I'm so excited to see what this halftime show is going to be.
Yeah, I'm curious about the performance. Like I'm not one for Super Bowl performances, but you know, if Kendrick's doing one, like I gotta see it. Like, I don't know how I'll see it, but we'll figure it out. I'm sure I could pirate it somehow, or whatever. NFL, don't listen to this podcast. Anyways, allegedly, I'll obtain it. Allegedly, I'll obtain it through the official NFL channels. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's like YouTube TV. It's like $70 a month. You really don't want to do that.
I don't think YouTube TV is available in Canada. Canada is weird. Anyways, we don't need to get into that right now. Let's wrap this up. As always, you can find the show notes on voxels.fm. We're back on Transistor, baby.
Before people ask, because the transcripts kind of went away, I'm going to rerun all the transcripts for the prior episodes today, and I'll reattach them to the show. I guess in the migration, the transcripts got lost, so that will be reattached to the episodes, because we're big on transcriptions up in this house. Yes, voxels.fm, feedback at voxels.fm. And where can people find you online?
People can find me on the Fediverse at PacketCat at 10forward.social, on my website, sonicsafe.com, and my blog, nullrouter.space. And the last but not least, I'm relaunching my music blog. It is syndicator.com, set up on the Ghost platform. We're doing Ghost. So go hit the free subscribe button. I'm working on a big piece, which is going to be about Kendrick Lamar. Unsurprisingly, it's going to be a whole thing. Anyways, look forward to that. And Christian, where do people find you on the internet?
Yeah, I'd be out here. Lo-Fi Carrots on basically everything, but on Mastodon, Lo-Fi Carrots 10forward.social, where I've yet to be banned. I've been posting a lot of incendiary shit recently. We're poisoning the ECN, you know. L4S boys up in this. I don't know networking stuff. Please don't explain it to me. It's more funnier if I don't know what that means. But yeah, you can find me online there. I apparently have a domain, but I forgot to renew it. So I need to go renew that. If you want to renew my domain, you can send me money. Please DM me, and I will take all of your money. But yeah, Until next time, this has been Voxels. I think we're gonna be back on this weekly cadence. I'm making space for more podcasting because sidebar here on content creation. I don't understand people who just work and then go home and play games. I mean, I do because it's like labor is tiring, but like I tried that for the past few months and it sucks not having a creative outlet. You know what I mean? Like it's just
that it sucks. That's why I'm doing a bunch of shit. Like I'm trying to do like book reviews and like long form pieces about music because I just get bored. Like I got to do something.
I got to be doing something. Like even if it's not frequent or even if it's not on a regular basis, like having projects work for having things to edit, like I don't know, it just keeps the mind busy. I can't be playing Cyberpunk all day or Destiny. But yeah, until next time, free range radio up in this L4S, IPv6. Bye.
Goodbye.